because things might just get a little bit heated. So avoiding those topics is something that the Malays prefer because they have a very relaxed, comfortable, humble, easygoing manner about them, and those topics can be a bit stressful because you might have differences of opinion.
Ngobrol yang asik-asik aja ya. Halo teman-teman semua, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Apa kabarnya nih teman-teman semua? Semoga sehat selalu ya. Dan kembali lagi bersama aku Rizky tentunya. Kali ini kita masih mau ngelanjutin requestan dari teman-teman semua. Thanks untuk teman-teman yang sudah kirimin link requestnya ke DM Instagram aku di ysrizqiyyah. Ini ya teman-teman, informasi kali ini yang mau aku share tentu saja hal-hal yang boleh dilakukan dan yang tidak boleh dilakukan pada saat ada di negara Malaysia. Kira-kira apa saja? Nanti juga aku mau berbagi sedikit tentu saja ya teman-teman ya, karena aku juga pernah datang ke Malaysia dan ada loh hal-hal yang nggak boleh dilakukan nih di Malaysia. Nah kali ini kita mau mendengarkan narasumber dari video ini. Langsung saja kita nonton videonya. 1, 2, 3.
So I'm here to give you 10 do's and don'ts of what to consider if you're thinking about traveling to Malaysia. I'm standing here on my balcony, sweltering hot. It's actually not that hot, but I'm melting. And I want to deliver to you the 10 do's and don'ts that are really important if you're thinking of traveling here to Malaysia. First of all, thanks to the Malaysians. I have an amazing fan base and I've loved all of your comments. So please do correct me if I've missed anything here and whether there's anything to add. And if you find the content helpful, please like and please share. So let's get straight into it. The 10 do's and don'ts of if you are thinking of traveling to Malaysia. Let's start with the top one. So, greetings. Like, you will make friends. You will win over the Malaysians if you can adopt some of their cultural ways, starting with the greeting. So when you greet somebody, you say salam. That's greatly appreciated, but there's other things to consider as well. For example, when you do, you say salam and you touch your chest and you bow. Now, before I do that, I'm going to switch my mic to this hand because this one is the one that you should be using, and you say salam. If it's in somebody elderly, you have to think twice. You kind of bow when you're speaking to them to address them in a respectful manner. What else have we got? Women, big one. When you're talking to a woman, you will never, as a man, extend your hand out for a handshake because it's not common practice for women to do that with a man. This country has predominantly Muslims, and Muslim women protect their modesty. So one of the things they won't do is they won't generally shake hands, especially with a man, and only shake hands with a woman if she puts her hand out first. Then, of course, you can reciprocate.
Kalau cewek cowok salamannya gini aja.
The elderly, and how to say hello in a respectful way. Salam, chest, bow, or the same you can do with a woman when you see her. You can just go like this. The next
Kalau cewek
one,
ketemu cipika-cipiki 3 kali.
Refrain from touching a Malaysian's head. I'm not kidding you. Don't pass things over their heads either, because it's just a manner, an etiquette, and a respect. They consider it rude and disrespectful if you do that. So avoid touching their heads. It's considered sacred. So any form of contact will be ill-advised or offensive. Number 3, this one's cool. I like this one actually, and I don't know why we don't do this more in the Western countries. You leave your shoes at the door, and the reason for that is because they're considered dirty and the home is considered clean. I've visited offices, we took our shoes off. Shops, we took our shoes off. Not generally in the malls you don't, but if you go to a shop or even the doctor's surgery, shoes off at the door, keep the place clean, and just respect their cultures. Leave your shoes at the door. Another thing maybe worth considering is having shoes that slip on and off easily, because if you're in your trainers, just be warned that you're going to be having to put them on and off a few times if you're traveling in and around Malaysia. So, number 4, always use the right hand. You saw me do it because I went like this. But that's wrong because this hand is considered dirty.
Tangan kanan.
When receiving, when giving anything, you use your right hand. Even down to in a shop when you're passing over your bank card or you're passing over cash, you use the right hand always. Remember that one because it's quite a big thing. Number 5, appropriate gifts of appreciation. So if you get invited by a Malaysian to their home or any kind of interaction where you want to buy them a gift, take a few things into consideration. No alcohol, no pork, because the majority are Muslim here, and therefore alcohol and pork doesn't come into it. Some cakes, some sweets, some chocolates, you know, pastries. Those are the kind of appropriate gifts to give if you get invited somewhere and you need to, or you want to gift a Malaysian something. Number 6, metered taxis. You will get this in every country you go to, so you'll be familiar with what I'm going to tell you here. You know, when you come out of the airport and you're usually, that foreigners arrived and they're out for the business, so the taxis will grab you and you ask them, how much is it going to cost for me to go to this location? You will find that they will inflate it by at least 4 times. That's why if they say they're not turning on their meter, you don't get in that taxi. But to make your life easy in Malaysia, their Uber, in fact, their company Grab bought out Uber, is the easiest way to get about. You can download the app. Travel is really, really cost effective. It's really cheap and it's a fixed price. Once you've set the price, you get in the taxi. There's no hassle, there's no stress, and you can go about getting around really, really easily in a Grab taxi. So remember that, metered vehicles. Right, next, dress wisely. Now I know it's not a Muslim country, it's secular per se. Some have differences of opinion on this, but because the majority are Muslim, you will find that the men will dress with shirts to their elbows and shorts below or on their knee. So be considerate, because that consideration becomes it's a sign of your respect for them and their country. And the women dress covered. The Muslim women dress covered, but that doesn't mean that the other communities here, the Chinese and the Indians, they dress how they want to. So it wouldn't be a surprise to see a Chinese girl with, you know, a little top and some shorts on. But as a sign of respect, if you wanted to, dressing modestly is important. And the only time that you're going to need to cover up fully or cover your head is when you're going to enter a mosque. They're really strict about this. We visited a few mosques and I noticed they had particular uniform set for people when they come in, they want to visit inside. If you're not dressed appropriately, they'll hand you a garment and you wear that when you're going around the mosque, but you don't have to wear it out. However, Muslim women, generally, you'll find dressed in loosely fitted clothing and something covering their head because it's a modest requirement as part of being a Muslim. Female. Next, we have got exclude sensitive topics in conversation. I learned this from somebody and I've remembered it, and that is the 3 R's that you don't tend to bring into conversation. The first is race, then religion, and then, what was the other one? The royals. Controversial topics of government you avoid in conversation because things might just get a little bit heated. So avoiding those topics is something that the Malays prefer because they have a very relaxed, comfortable, humble, easygoing manner about them, and those topics can be a bit stressful because you might have differences of opinion and that could lead to just a negative vibe, and they're all about chilled vibes and being happy and keeping everybody smiling. So avoid the 3 R's: race, religion, royals. Then you can go on to number 9. Now this is tasting their food. You will find Indian, Chinese and Malaysian food absolutely everywhere. Get ready for your taste buds to be overwhelmed because there's so much flavor, so much taste, so much spice. And for me, being here, I was quite shocked to eat food that was quite spicy. The chili level was over and above for my taste buds and for my daughter, in fact. However, we've become more and more accustomed to it because it tastes so good. You don't mind the heat, and they use green chilies or red chilies in their foods, and you just get used to it, in fact, because it tastes so good, okay? And that's in the Chinese food as well. So, taste sensation, get ready to be wowed. Last but not least, as a Westerner, public displays of affection are quite common practice. And in fact, it's so common that people kind of just don't even notice it. But in this country, public displays of affection will extend to maybe a peck on the cheek and maybe a side hug. Anything more than that is considered rude and just inconsiderate because it's something that they don't like to see in public.
Betul sekali, betul.
It's cultural more than anything, and offensive if you do it. So just avoid doing that and you'll spare yourself just being looked at maybe, or just frowns maybe. I'm not saying that that's what will happen, but I think just being in the country, respect their values, respect their cultures. So that's it. That's your 10 do's and don'ts of traveling in Malaysia. And by doing this and following this, you will get so much more back because you are showing them that you respect them, respect their culture, respect their country. And in return, you will get so much more back. You will win their hearts. You will find that they are over hospitable. You will find that they are over generous, over helpful because they appreciate you. Anyhow, if you have appreciated what I've had to say in my video, give me a thumbs up so we can share this information with as many people as possible. Give me a like, and in comments, if there's anything else you Malays want to add that I might have missed or that I've got wrong, feel free to leave me a comment because I know how much you have already shown your love to me and I appreciate it. So give me a follow, give me a share. And that bird follows us everywhere. So I'm imagining that bird is like common in Malaysia. It wakes us up in the morning and every time it seems to be almost at the call of prayer. That's another thing actually that you'll find is the call of prayer. You'll hear that almost everywhere you go. Anyhow, do's and don'ts Malaysia from me, Saira Hayati, to you. I hope I've served you well.
Thank you videonya. Oke teman-teman ya, itu tadi hal-hal yang boleh dan tidak boleh dilakukan pada saat datang ke Malaysia berdasarkan video dari kakak tadi ya teman-teman ya. Nah berdasarkan pengalaman aku juga ya teman-teman ya, pernah datang ke Malaysia gitu ya, hampir sama lah ya. Pasti namanya kalau kita ketemu sama apa ya, beda gitu kan, lawan jenis gitu ya, wanita, laki-laki, pasti kita salamannya gini aja gitu kan ya, nggak boleh namanya salaman kayak gini ya. Itu juga udah diajarkan di agama kita gitu kan, untuk tidak bersentuhan gitu ya teman-teman ya. Nah selanjutnya teman-teman ya, nggak boleh dilakukan kalau di Malaysia. Nah sepengetahuan aku kalau lagi ngendarain mobil gitu ya, misalkan kita orang Indonesia nih ngendarin mobil gitu kan, ngendarin kereta di Malaysia gitu, nggak boleh namanya tiba-tiba membunyikan klakson, karena kebiasaan kalau kita di Indonesia kan apa ya, kayak mau duluan tintin, kayak yang dari depan misalkan menghalangi tintin gitu ya. Nah kalau di Malaysia itu nggak boleh kecuali urgent banget gitu ya, kecuali benar-benar harus klakson gitu ya. Dan betul sekali ya teman-teman ya, yang dikatakan oleh narasumber tadi tentu saja ya teman-teman ya, kalau kita istilahnya datang ke Malaysia dengan cara yang baik, yang sopan gitu kan, ngikutin semua aturan yang ada di sana, culture yang ada di sana juga gitu kan. Jadi kita tuh istilahnya datang bertamu ke rumah orang gitu, kita paham harus melakukan apa gitu ya. Di sana tuh diterima sangat baik sekali gitu ya teman-teman. Dan itu sih yang bikin rindu ya teman-teman ya, untuk kembali lagi ke Malaysia tentunya. Dan pastinya ingin ya, udah rindu nih bertemu dengan sahabat-sahabat di Malaysia semua ya teman-teman ya. Karena itu tadi sekalinya kita datang ke sana tuh diterima sangat baik di sana, dilayan sangat baik. Wah luar biasa, bikin rindu untuk datang ke sana lagi. Dan oke teman-teman, demikiannya video kita kali ini. Untuk teman-teman semua yang dari Malaysia, boleh ditambahin nih ya di kolom komentar ya, apa saja yang nggak boleh dilakukan nih kalau misalkan datang ke Malaysia nih ya. Hal-hal apa saja yang biasanya dilakukan oleh pendatang lah, pelancong, turis-turis asing gitu kan yang datang ke Malaysia. Mereka tuh nggak tahu gitu kan ya melakukan hal tersebut, padahal itu nggak boleh dilakukan di Malaysia. Nanti boleh teman-teman tulis di kolom komentar tentu saja. Dan oke teman-teman, demikiannya video kita kali ini. Aku akhiri dulu. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sampai jumpa lagi di videoku selanjutnya. Bye bye, next time, bye.